India Bike Week, the Woodstock of biking festivals. 2013 was India Bike Week's first year. Stunts, music, a festival made to please all those who love their chrome and leather. It's year 2 of the India Bike Week, and this time IBW 2014 is bigger, better, and hosted hundreds of bikers who rode in from all across the country. A mega display of bikes of every feather. Mod bikes, vintage bikes, super bikes. A total of about 100 bikes on display. But wait, we're not gonna get into that yet.
Hello everybody, it's that time of the year where things go vroom vroom vroom. Lots of testosterone, lots of heavy machinery. What's more, you get me, Ramona Arena, back here to host India Bike Week 2014. If you thought last year was great, come join me and I'm gonna show you what the madness is all about this year.
This was India Bike Week's second year, and bikers from different parts of India rode in with their brotherhoods to congregate finally at Vagator, Goa.
All right, guys, let's roll. Let's go. We are headed to Goa for the India Bike Week. We are 90 Harleys, all roaring, 650 kilometers of awesome track that we've had.
The largest contingency of bikes which are entering Goa, IBW, is Riders Republic.
Yes!
Bangalore.
Bikers from Mumbai were buzzed to have Ted Simon in their ranks. The man is legendary for circumnavigating the world solo on a motorcycle, not once, but twice. And the first time he did it, it was back in 1973. Bikers actually flew down to have the opportunity to be able to ride down with the legend, all the way down the coastal route to Goa.
We decided to go to the India Bike Week because we are celebrating our anniversary, so first year anniversary. And our honeymoon on the first year was a bike trip from Bangalore to Pondicherry and back. So we decided to celebrate it pretty much the same way. Riding with the pillion is way better. And riding with my wife is way better.
Of all the bikers who made their way to Bike Week, the Harley riders rounded up to make sure they made a grand entrance together, shoulder to shoulder as one brotherhood, to kick off the Bike Week experience. IBW saw close to 1,000 Harleys chug their way in this year as a part of the National Harley Owners Group rally.
Oh, it's just an incredible feeling. You know, it's our second National Hog Rally, which is one of the key events that happen in every place we are all around the world. It's the coming together of the brotherhood, of the family, as you see here, to seeing all these bikes in one place, and just the camaraderie and that feeling and that vibe. It's our customers. They're passionate about riding, they're passionate about freedom and adventure and these experiences that are shared amongst like-minded people. They're coming out and they've ridden all over from around the country, over 1,000 of them coming into Goa to celebrate together, you know, what it is to be part of the Harley Owners Group. And as you know, the Harley Owners Group is the largest riding community in the world. I mean, we have 1.3 million active members all around the world, 140 hog chapters, 13 of those are here in India, and they're all here having the time of their life. So it couldn't be better. My favorite weekend of the year.
Here on day one of India Bike Week, we have just witnessed, I don't know how many Harleys coming in, but this man was a part of that whole ride. How many guys were you in total?
There's over 1,000 Harleys that have registered. I think as part of the actual rally, there were over 700 bikes here today.
What's your experience at India Bike Week been like?
I was here last year, and last year I think for their first year they have definitely set a template, and I've not had a chance to actually go around and look at it this year, but just from what I can see, they've upped their game and we're ready for something like this. And I think this is the one time that we all come under one umbrella and we understand each other. We know what it's like to be on two wheels, and we get to actually share war stories, I guess you could put it that way.
The whole concept of riding together in a group, in our group, is something extraordinary, because alone you are one with your vehicle, you are one with your bike, everything is all good, but then the fun, the joy, the bonds you share with each other, the fact that you make friends, you can only experience that in a group ride. And the level of safety increases, the level of adventure increases. The more fun you have making fun of someone else and that person making fun of you in the same time.
Coming up, stunt riders from New Zealand show the audience at IBW a thing or two. The India Bike Week definitely had the big guys of the motorcycling world mixing in with the crowds of IBW. What with Scott Redding, the youngest MotoGP champion in the world, visiting this year. In 2013, Scott won the French, Italian and Great Britain Grand Prix, the youngest to do so in all time. What's a bike festival without the professionals showing you what you must not try at home? Stunt bikers from New Zealand had a thing or two to share with the packed crowds at IBW. The vintage display is one of the most carefully curated collections at the Bike Week, bringing together people who still insist on keeping the spirit of the classics roaring. Some of these bikes were over 100 years old. Bike Week showcased some of the rarest vintage bikes from across the country and met the likes of Mr. Singh, who's been making bikes for decades now. He thinks it's important for young bike builders to learn how to build from the old classics like this beautiful Swift from the early 1900s. He restructured it from complete scrap himself.
ऑटोमोबाइल आज जहाँ पर है वो प्रीवियस हमारा जो फाउंडेशन है फाउंडेशन से ही ये हम लोग यहाँ तक पहुँचे हैं और मेरा मोटो एक ये है कि अपनी जो हिस्ट्री है उसको प्रिजर्व करने का यंग जनरेशन के लिए ये इसलिए ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है कि अगर हमारे को हिस्ट्री पता होगी तो फ्यूचर में हम लोग क्या करने जा रहे हैं उसके ऊपर हमारे को सोचने के लिए बहुत सारे पॉइंट्स मिल जाते हैं.
I love vintage bikes and I don't own an old British bikes. I love the feel of them. I love the build quality I love how they sound, and just the feel of getting on an old bike is something which you can't describe and something you can't experience in a new bike, because these are all a part of our heritage, you know, and they're not going to make them again. And the build quality of these bikes and you know, the kind of stuff they use on it is not, you don't find these in new bikes anymore, you know. Now it's all like click, you know, you press a button, you start the bike. And these ones, like, you know, require a lot more love. They're more like, how I describe it, more like looking after like a beautiful girl. You know, how you have to, it takes a lot of work, you know, if you with, you know, with something so special. But then the rewards are also like so much more than just, you know, just getting on one of these new bikes, buying it from a showroom and just clicking the button and starting it.
Who said motorcyclists don't love shopping? For the first time in India, IBW set the stage for India's largest gathering of bike accessory and part manufacturers, bringing brands from all across the country together under the same roof. A one-stop shopping experience like never before, with an indoor expo and open flea markets. If some bikers bought stuff to accessorize their bikes, others accessorized themselves with ink right at IBW. Swapnil from Tattoo Star has had a lot of first-hand experience with bikers getting themselves inked between journeys in both Mumbai and Goa.
A lot of them get the Harley Davidson logo.
Oh.
Yeah. And
Okay.
in India, a lot of the Firangs, they like Enfield.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
they
they
get
get the
things.
Enfield's logo.
They get things related to Enfield and like Indian bikes.
What is the most common place to get tattooed?
Mostly for bikers, it's on the arms.
All right.
Yeah, because a lot of people, this is like the least painful area.
Mm-hmm.
So they like to start from there.
All right.
So once they know what the pain is, then they can go all over.
Do the biker boys cry?
Yes, they do.
How?
Yes.
How? Are they like
No,
screaming or like teardrops?
they don't scream, no teardrops also, but
They're not as tough as the girls are. Is
they are not
basically
as,
what you're trying to say.
they have muscles and all, but I've heard that people who have muscles, it hurts them more.
Oh, so you're saying it hurts them more because they have muscles.
Yes.
And girls have fat.
Girls are much. Okay, she said it.
And what about the tattoos? Do you have any? Oh, there we go. Oh, and it's a Harley Davidson. Oh, wow. You're a big fan. They need to give you like a free bike.
I'm not a fan.
You are.
Okay, I'm not a fan. This is the only brand that is worthy of being on my body, and that's just how life is. I am Harley. I love my Harley Davidson, and the tattoo. Again, I don't go for tattoos for the sake of painting. But your tattoo's got to mean something to you, and they call me the Wolf, and I got the tattoo on the shoulder that goes with the wolf, and that tattoo is also on my bike, and that's what makes
The orange bike.
yeah, that's the same wolf, and that's what makes me and my bike one. That's it.
IBW served emergency beer all over the site through the day to beat the heat. Say hello to the beerbulance. Riders lounged back as live acoustic stages in the day gave way to EDM in the nighttime, with the likes of Dove Vision, Duelist Inquiry, and a rocking set by Don Bhatt and the Passenger Revelator. Coming up, Ramona goes for a spin in the Rage Cyclone. bike build-offs every year at Bike Week set bike designers up to the task of building their machines up from scratch. It's a chase to the finish. This year's build-offs saw the best custom bike builders from across the country present their creations on the ground, all so the audience could cast their votes for the best bikes on display. 7 contestants showcased their mettle this year. Bike builders started welding and soldering metal into place way in advance in their studios, like at Adil Dumasia's Transfigure Custom House.
This time's IBW, we're doing a cafe racer, a very Norton kind of, the 1930s Norton Manx they were called. They were specially built for the Grand Prix. On that concept, we're going to build out of a Royal Enfield engine. So we're taking the concept right, we are building the featherbed chassis, and the look of the bike is going to be like a Manx, but we've made certain changes because we have to make it a practicable bike for today's day and age. The Manx didn't have a headlight, didn't have indicators, didn't have a tail light. So we're going to make this bike practicable so that the customer can ride this bike on our roads.
The winners of the grand prize this year were Moto Exotica's RD350 entry in the open class category and Reza Hussain Customs reptilian-themed Veleno Mortale in the chopper class category. First-time bike builders TNT Motorcycles launched their maiden creation Shunya at IBW and were kicked by the reactions they got to their bike.
Actually, we were very lazy in building the bike, and we decided to set a deadline, and the deadline was India Bike Week. So we worked our asses off day and night, working on weekends, working late nights, sometimes not sleeping for a couple of days also. And the experience here, the overwhelming response which we have got, it has just taken us very high. We try not to be overconfident, but yes, it has kicked some confidence in us. There's one thing I like to say to all Indian mechanical students, designers, and I see a lot of sketches on Facebook and on their profiles of bikes and things you cannot imagine. I'll tell them that now you got these platforms like India Bike Week. Get off your ass, start building something, and you can only do it when you start doing it. Actually, if you set a deadline in your mind and you just go for it, whatever comes out, whatever comes out. Don't. Actually, we were also very insecure, but don't be insecure. There are good people around here, bikers who understand biker philosophy, and you're welcome here with open arms. So, India Bike Week, amazing event, and I guess I'll be a permanent visitor here.
Mixing in with the first-time builders, stalwarts in the field like Frank Savage, Harley-Davidson's principal designer presented new Harley metal at IBW with a showcase of the Harley Street 750, built especially for the Indian roads.
We've been waiting for this for a long time. The Street 750 has been the most researched new platform developed by Harley-Davidson in history. And it's the first new platform in 14 years. And to bring that to India, which will be one of the first markets to launch it, is just a great feeling. There's so much excitement, so much enthusiasm here at India Bike Week, and it's a great place to launch a new platform.
Aniket Das, one amongst the youngest builders, launched his bike at IBW, a bike made for off-roading, adventure touring, and suitable for pillion riding, all three packed into one. There's no bike like this in India.
I never knew that they were going to actually put me up for a launch and put me on the same stage as Frank Savage and Vijay Singh and Arjun. These guys are legends, and it was, I'm honored to have been over there and to have a discussion with them. I never expected this to happen. I was a little kid who loved watching MRF Supercross and always dreamt of being on the track and jumping high in the air with those dirt bikes, and it was a dream that wasn't possible because of financial reasons and because off-roading is not that big a sport in India. I mean, it was something that I always wanted to do but I could never do, and it always bothered me. So after a while I decided, okay, if I can't race it, I'll make it. And at least the other kid who dreams of something like this can actually make it a reality. So hence every effort of mine was to help in growth of off-road motorsports in India, because if you look at it, we have the most diverse topography. We have everything from the deserts to the Himalayas, and this country can really become an off-road hotspot. It's a great opportunity because I've got a lot of false promises from a lot of media guys saying that we'll feature your bike, we'll do this, we'll do that. But IBW is the only, I think, expo where when I send them my work, they really kept their word, and they've done so much for me, I don't know how to even thank them.
Another new vehicle presented at India Bike Week was the Rage Motorsports Cyclone. Bikers explored their love for outdoors, speed and power at a whole new level.
I am in the hot seat over here with Neville at IBW in something called Rage. What's the Rage all about?
Rage Motorsport is a British manufacturer of off-road buggies, and we've always been a niche market product, basically selling in England, Europe and America. So when I saw this product a while ago, I said, why not bring it to India, and sell it to the Indian people and let them have a taste of what motorsport is all about, And here we are at IBW. It's our first show, and we've got a fantastic response. We've sold probably 3 or 4 buggies.
Wow, that's amazing. Does this do any stunts as well?
It does. It does a lot of nice jumps. I'd love to take you for a demonstration ride.
Come on, let's do this.
Bike Week made sure there was something for everyone all day through. Burnout contests, strongman competitions. It was also an opportunity for bikers to acknowledge and celebrate the great achievers of their league, making faces known and giving the bikers from brotherhoods all over the country a reason to bond, whatever their taste in metal. Another great riding storyteller, Eliza Massey, made biking around the world sound easy. Known as the biking grandmother, Eliza rode in for the Bike Week as a part of her 20-month solo trip around the world.
I am very excited about being invited to India Bike Week, and it's a great way to learn more about motorcycles and be involved and get inspired. When I was reading Ted Simon's book, I was really inspired by the descriptions that he described different countries and situations that he'd been in. And I, as a photographer, imagined them in my head and photographs of the descriptions he had in his book. And I thought, wow, what a great way to travel by motorcycle. I will go through these countries and I'll see them and I can photograph. Where he wrote about them, I wanted to photograph them. The most common question I get by other women that are interested in riding bikes is it safe? Is it safe for a solo woman to travel around the world? The answer is yes, it is very safe. It's not only, you have to use common sense and your tuition like anybody does. You can't go in dangerous places, you don't go at night. But as a woman, you're actually highly respected. People are intrigued that you're a woman doing this on your own, that you have the strength to do it, the courage to do it, and mostly the enjoyment to do it.
21 bikers gunned their machines in a 21 rev salute to honor biking legends Ted Simon and Nick Sanders. Here's Nick Sanders, a man who's circumnavigated the world 9 times and still holds the record for spinning around the world in 19 days, the fastest till date.
I think of myself as Marco Polo, not obviously as famous as Marco Polo, but I've certainly travelled more than Marco Polo. But what we share is that we are both emissaries. We communicate great things about the world. It's not just about news, it's not just about the politics, and it's not just about the film industry or, the headlines. It's about ordinary people. slightly amazingly ordinary people like me who come back with great stories. And there are lots of people at a show like this who are doing something similar. Maybe not quite as big, maybe it's a bit smaller, but they're still coming back with their great stories. They come back and they say, I've just had a great time. And what they should be saying also is that you too can do it as well. And I think this is what this whole melee is all about. It's about the ride. It's about how the ride changes you personally, how you have to dig very deeply into your heart, your soul, your spirit, you know, and your mindset in order to progress as a human being. And I think this is what it's all about. And you're doing a great job.
IBW saw the coming together of a lot of riders from different parts of India, different cultures under one roof, sharing their experiences, seeing new bikes, seeing bikes hard to come by. A biker's heaven designed to inspire.
We're talking about people who want to travel on bikes, not people who just want to race on them or ride from one cafe to another, but people who want to travel on bikes to make the travel more important than the bike, and not worry about whether they can afford to buy a big bike or a new bike. Really, all of that, you're going to have to lose all that before you really start enjoying the journey. So do what many people that I know have done and just buy the cheapest, dirtiest bike you can find and tie a lot of stuff up in a tarpaulin and stick it on the back and go. That's my main piece of advice.
My first job was a cleaner. I was sweeping floors and washing helicopters. And my father is retired as an airline pilot. So aircraft and machines have always fascinated me. And I knew I wanted to do something with them. My salary was 200 rupees a month and 3 square meals and 2 shots of rum at night because it was freaking cold. And I worked for that, and I never had more fun in my life. I traveled in trucks, I traveled in trains, I traveled on the back of a bullock cart, following that helicopter as it went from field to field, spraying insecticide. And at 17, I suddenly realized I know what I want with my life. What an amazing country we live in. The visuals, if you are a scene or a scenery person, or if you can be astounded by a cloud in the sky and the way it's shaped and the way it's moving, then you need to be on a motorcycle on a highway, because you'll not experience it in the city. You'll not see that. And to come around a curve and a blind turn and to see the scenery, it just opens up in front of you. You have no idea what's coming around there, and you see that scenery, and the only option you have is to stop, grab a cup of coffee, take in that vision, because, yeah, it's there for us, but we choose not to see it. And then we say that we don't like what we see out in the city. It's the choices we make.